Thank you. So, just a look back at what we have seen yesterday. Uh, so basically, till now we have set up our Matillion instances, right? Then we have also set up the project and the environment, right? So project is where all of our jobs and all the pipelines, right? That will be building in, correct? So that is a workspace area. Environments specifically will is describes the connection between your Matlab instance and the database platform. So in our case, the database platform is a Snowflake cloud data warehouse, right? And at the time of creating the environment, we also provide the AWS connections. So uh, in AWS connection, what we specify is to use the instance credentials, right? So instance credentials means the credentials which is attached to the our IAM role. Sorry, on the to the EC2 machine, right? And to EC2 machine, we have attached the IAM role, correct? And also, while creating the connection, we also provide the some of the Snowflake default values. Okay. Then we have looked upon few of the UI detailing part, few of the project menus and all, and then we started developing first orchestration job, right, where we loaded data from a file in S3 to Snowflake. Okay, so this is very common scenario where your upstream system or your client or business partners, they will put the files on S3. Okay, and then you need to load that file to Snowflake, maybe first as a staging area, right? So today we will go through, first we'll go through uh, uh, loading the people file, okay, within the same job. And once that is done, then we'll create the transformation job. Okay, and after that, I will walk you through the few of the remaining parts of the UI detailing. Okay, so let's get started. Let me ping let me ping you the today's IP. Yeah, I have pinged the IP address or the URL. You can just check if you're able to log in, and log in. Once you log in, select your individual project. And I hope you have changed your password once you log in. So to change your password, you need to go to project and click on change my password. Okay. So let me know once you are done. Completed with changing the password. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Nitin.
Okay. Yeah. So next thing, what I want you to do is we have another file, okay, in S3, which is people.txt. So we need to load this file as well. Okay, so it is a comma separated file, and it has first row as a header. Okay, so the name is capital people.txt. Okay, so let's load that. You can also perform with me. So what I'm doing, instead of using this truncate table here, okay, what I can do, I can use the SQL script component. Okay, so uh, Matillion does provide SQL script component, right? Where you can write the SQL. commands. Okay, so what I'm doing here, I'm writing simple truncate table command. Truncate table, just a second. Then demodb dot public dot sf orders. Okay, okay, and so this SQL script component, so it is a component where you can write any of your uh, you know uh, DDL or DML statements. Okay, so you can write create, you can write insert, update, merge, delete, right? Like this statement, truncate. But here, the output of this component should not be a select statement. Okay, because we cannot pass the result to the further component using this SQL script component in orchestration job. Okay, however, we have similar component in transformation job. There we can write the select query. Okay, so if you see here, it says that multiple SQL scripts. However, there is no way to recover the output of the script statement. So your script statement should not be a select. Okay, if you wish to write select queries, the SQL transformation component allows you to write the custom select queries. Okay, so here we can write any DDL or DML statement except for select. Okay, so what I am doing here, instead of using that truncate table command component, I'm using the SQL script component, and I'm writing truncate table my demodb.public.sf orders. Okay, and then I need to connect this component to my next component, right? So here, if you see, there are three hollow circle you will see. Okay, so first is success. That means what we need to do once this component is success. Okay, second is unconditional. So that means irrespective whether this component is success or failed, what we need to do. And last one is on failure. If this component is failure, what we need to do. Okay, as of now we'll focus on success. So once this is success, I need to run my next component, right? Okay, and now this uh, this component was using this component, we are loading the orders file. Now what I will do, I will just create a copy of this. Maybe I will just do control C then control V. It will create a copy of this, and then once orders is loaded, what I will do, I will try to load the people file. Okay, so here instead of orders, I will give people. Okay, and what others thing changes here? Yes, obviously my table, target table, now instead of SF orders, it's SF people I need to select. Okay, and if you see now my field limiter, instead of uh, tab, I have comma, so I can give a comma here. Okay, right, and I need to do skip header and all. Okay, so and so now again,
Your source file name?
sorry.
No, I was asking, did you change your source file name?
Yes, I did. It's people.txt right now, right? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So let me give some name. Here's load people, and here I will say load orders, right? And then here truncate tables. Okay. So what I did now is I have added that SQL script component, and there I have written the truncate table command. So what I will do here, I will write two commands, right? Truncate table demodb public.sf orders and sf people, and then my first S3 load component will load data from order.txt file to sf orders, and second component which will load data from people.txt to people sf people table. Okay, so let's try to run this now. If I click here on history, if I expand this, it says it has successfully executed two queries, right? Which was there in the our truncate table, right? So guys, if
Correct.
you if, yeah, if we see here, if we give the proper naming convention to to this to each and every component, so it's easy to understand within the log itself. Okay, right? So truncate tables, so it has executed two truncate command, then load orders, it has loaded the file, and load people as well. Okay, so now if I go back and see in people, yes, so I can see this data, right? ID, person, and region, correct? And I have another which is orders, correct, which is this. Okay, right? Now I want you guys to try this out. Okay, so the job which you created yesterday, what you can do, if you have included that truncate table command component, instead of that, use SQL script component. So you can search from here SQL script. Okay, you will get that, and then click here, create a copy of this. So either you can right click on and do a copy and then paste, or you can simply do Control C and Control V and load the file. Okay, so I'll wait for a minute or two so we can proceed. Okay, clear?
Question here,
Yeah,
Nitin, right?
Nitin, actually, like here, after one table, you are giving another table.
Mm-hmm.
In
Yes,
that,
here.
yeah, okay, got it. Like there itself, you are giving file name, right? Okay.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So yeah, so you can bring in that SQL script component and just try this out and write this statement here. Okay, just give me a minute, I will be back. Okay. Yeah, completed with this.
Yeah, six records loaded.
Still working on it, please.
Yeah, okay.
The second, right after the task, right? You had a truncate task or SQL script task here?
Here,
Yeah.
yeah, so the component name is
Yes.
SQL script. Okay, but
Okay.
the yeah, so component is SQL script, and I have renamed that to truncate table.
I used a truncate task, and then I selected two tables from there. In the SQL, it generated the same thing, so that's fine too, right?
Yes, yeah, that is also fine. Uh, but why I use that specifically. Now, let's say, as of now, if you see our SF order and SF people, both the tables are in same database and same schema. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In case if our SF people, let's say in some different schema, okay, or in some
Oh,
different database. So then here, if you see, you can select only one schema, or you can truncate the table which are present
correct,
only under one schema.
correct,
That is the
correct. Yeah.
purpose I have used that. Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. But it's so in real time, you will have the different schemas and different databases for different files, right? Or different source systems.
Yep, got it, got it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that is the
So
SQL. What is it? That's the SQL script, right? Okay.
yeah, SQL Suite component. So here you can write anything. I mean, even if you need to write the entire your SQL query with the like insert command, right, or update command, you can write it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So at the end, this will get pushed down to Snowflake for execution. Okay. And here as well, if you see, when created another S3 load component for so to load the people, here as well it will create one copy command, okay, of Snowflake. Right now, the next thing that
Uh,
will, yeah.
Nathan, just a question. So since all of us are um, trying to load the same S3 file
Hmm.
and we're using the same Matillion server, right, or services, are all of us going to load the same table, or is it different tables that we're loading, like
Yeah,
orders or people, right?
yeah. So if you see, yes, we are logged into same Matillion server, but we are logged into different project. That is first thing, and the most
Right,
important, all of our Snowflake connection is different, right? So
right.
you are, yeah, that means you are loading into your Snowflake tables in your Snowflake account. I'm loading into my Snowflake account, right?
Yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah, right, yeah,
One more time, where did you show me the environment? Okay.
yeah. So here, if you see the environment, so we'll come to that again. So if you see, yeah, the Snowflake connection, right? So this is my Snowflake connection, which I have given. You must have given your own individual Snowflake
Right,
connection.
right.
Okay, yeah. Now, just since you brought that topic, so many, sometimes what may happen is, nowadays this Matillion tool, right? It is not only the developers who are using, but some of the business analysts they also prefer to use it. Okay, it's the same because of its simplicity. So if you
Mhm.
remember earlier, the business analysts were using the Alteryx as a tool. Okay, so to perform some of their intermediate tasks, right? So they can also use here. So in that case, for them, right, there would always be a single production instance, right? Because they don't need to have dev, UAT, QA and all, right? Because that is what the data warehouse team will do. But once the data is populated in final data warehouse table, the business analyst for their daily work they may want to perform some of the task, right? So they can also use the Matillion for the same. Okay, so in that case, uh, you know mostly they will ask the development team to create a separate project for them, okay, on the production instance, right? So in that case, what will happen, they will definitely have their own project and they will work within a same project.
Mhm.
Okay, right. And if they need to schedule their job, so what they will do specifically, right? Let's say this is the production project. What they will do, they will create the versions. Okay, let's say there are three business analysts which who are working. They will create their versions. Okay, and they will work in their versions. Okay, and once they are done with development, what they will do, they will just export those jobs. Okay, and import into default version. Okay, that means, okay, having said that, let's say I'm a business analyst. Okay, um let's say Jake is one. Okay, we have created a workspace for him. So what I'm doing is, right, so currently I'm into Jake's workspace. Yeah, I'm switching version. I'm into Jake's workspace, and let's say Jake modifies something here, or something here, okay, and you just added the one SQL script component, and there was some need to add that, okay, considering that. And here he's just truncating the table. UDP dot public save orders. Okay, so here just added that there. Now since now if they need to deploy to actual production, so what they will do specifically, he will just take an export of this job. Okay, export of this job, and okay, and as a part of production deployment, right, what probably they will do, they will switch back to default version, okay, and they will import it here. Okay, simple. So this is because for them the more important procedure is to get the things done right on the business side, correct? So they will not maintain the all day UAT production environment, but they will have one production environment, and they will try to manage their jobs using the different versions. Okay, so the business analyst would develop the jobs or change the job in their respective version, and then they will migrate to default version. So their default version kind of a production version they will assume. Clear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Nitin, one question.
Hmm.
So when I understand they created a new version and they perform their changes, and when they go to for testing, I mean they cannot test really until unless their changes are looks good, right, in production environment. How they
Yeah.
manage this?
Yes, yes, yeah. So what they do usually, na? So usually data warehouse team, right? So they
Hmm.
will create some temporary database. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
So what they will do when they are developing that, they will point this to some of the temporary database. Okay. And
okay,
once
okay.
everything change is done, they will point to
Hmm.
their real-time project. Okay. And again, uh, the cloud data warehouse team, right? They will not allow to modify the tables which are, like final data mart tables and all. What they will ask that maybe we can create the another database, let's say user analytics, okay, and there they can the business analyst can create their tables, temporary tables and views and all. Okay, so that is how
Okay,
we
okay.
manage. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So on the same note, uh, now let's think that this is our development environment, right? And let's think that we need to migrate this job to UAT environment. Okay, right? So if you just if let's say if you have Git integration, so you will merge this job with the Git UAT branch, right? And then you will migrate that, right? But the thing is that now let's say in development environment, so your database is DemoDB, okay, and in UAT it is DemoDB underscore UAT, right? So ideally, developers will not have any access to change any job in UAT and production. Okay, right? So we should not, once you develop the job and once you merge that to UAT branch, right, on the Git, right, you should not change anything, right? So we need to parameterize this thing. Okay, right? And here, here, so that is here this is there is a concept of environmental variables. Okay, so environmental variables are nothing but the global variables which are accessible to all of the jobs within a project, right? So there are different kinds of variable as well, so we'll come to that part. But here environmental variables, and when we should create the environmental variable, if that particular variable is going to use in multiple jobs, okay, then we can create a environmental variable. Okay, so now for example, right, this demo db or database name, right, or let's say this schema name, right? So this uh, you know uh, these database or schema can be used across multiple jobs, correct, when we develop in real time. Okay, and the name of this database gets changes in UAT. So let's say in UAT it's DemoDB UAT, and its production is DemoDB prod. right? So we will not have any access to modify these jobs, correct? So what we will do now, we will create the environmental variables. So how do we create that? You go to project, here is an option, manage environmental variables. When you click that, a window appear, you just need to click plus and give it a name. Okay, now let's say I'm creating a variable for my demo db. Let's say this is an orders db. So what I'm doing, or let's say this is my orders application, right? So I'm giving env orders db. Okay, as of now let it all it is, and I'm giving here its value as demo db. Okay, never give here some environment specific values like env db dev or uat like this. No, right? Give only the specific names, because the same name would go in UAT as well, on UAT instance. Okay, and the same name can go on production instance, but the only value will change.
Yeah,
Okay,
Nitin, actually, like UAT and production, like can be managed within this project.
no. So ideally, in ideal scenario, there should be the different instances for UAT and production.
How can we like differentiate? Actually, like these environment variables can be provided within the project, I believe.
Yes, yeah.
So, but how can we differentiate? Like, for example, I have created job just now.
Hmm.
Like, the same job should be available in UAT, right?
No, that will be available if you migrate, right? If you
Yeah,
migrate to
yeah.
that.
Once we migrate, like in the sense, actually, like just I'm a bit confused. Like for UAT and production, how they are going to maintain like a project here. Like we have logged into only one region, I believe, like
One
uh,
instance.
one instance. So like
Yeah. So see, simple. The way we have launched development instance, right? Similarly, they will launch UAT instance and the production instance. Okay. There also they will create the project with same name, MTL SF. Okay.
I mean, like different. For example, you give IP address, right? For UAT will be different
Yeah,
IP address.
different IP address, right? Exactly.
O-
Yeah,
Okay,
UAT will
okay.
be. See, we need to launch three instances. Okay. When I say instances, these will have the three different machines, right?
Yeah,
Three
got
different
it.
Matillions, three different IP addresses. Okay.
Yeah, got it. Like, okay, got it. Like,
Yeah.
for example, whatever we have environment variable here, like
Yeah.
those environment variables will be migrated.
Exactly, correct. Environmental variables along with jobs will migrate. And let's
Yeah,
say if this is my UAT environment, what admin will do, Matillion admin, let's say the database name is different, he will put UAT under this, right? So the same job which was working in dev, it will work in UAT,
yeah.
right?
If you do not put UAT also, for example, like if same parameter available for that
Yeah,
job, then it will be taking as it is.
it is
We
right,
want to
right.
keep UAT also, right?
Exactly. That is right. Okay, yeah. So here I'm creating two variables like env orders db and env public schema, and here I am giving the name as env public. Okay. Now let's say I am creating another variable which is, or let's do one. Oh, okay. Let me create it one more time. So I am creating env orders db. Okay, and my database name is demo db, and let's say I'm creating a warehouse name. Okay, env small warehouse, or maybe I will say env general warehouse, which is used for most of the jobs, right? And here I'm saying compute wh. Okay, so I have created these two variables, orders db and general warehouse. Okay, right? Now what I can do now, okay, so instead of using the hard coded values here, what I can do, I can click here on warehouse name, and if you see there is an option use variable. Okay, so if I click here, and there are multiple, inbuilt variables are also coming here as well, so I will explain on that part, but we are specifically interested in env underscore general warehouse, right? This is my uh, you know uh, uh, this is my variable name, right? This is an environmental variable name. Okay, so either I can do like this, or if I, and you can just note down the notations here. Okay, so here to get or to define any variable, okay, the syntax is dollar open curly braces your variable name and then close curly braces. Okay, so I'm clicking okay here. Again for demo db, right? what I can do, instead of selecting any of these values, I will use the use variable option, and here what I will do, I can type in dollar open curly braces env orders db, right? Or simply if you just type this env orders db, we can do that, right? That we have used, right? Now what happens, so in UAT production all environments, my table name will be same, right? My table name will not change. Okay, so what I did, I have parameterized the warehouse name and database name, okay, assuming that my schema name will remain same. Okay, similarly here as well, I will do, what I will do is, here I will use variable and I will search for env general warehouse, and here in database I will use the orders db, correct, right? Here as well. So here if you see the demo DB instead of demo DB, what I can do, uh, now as I said, the syntax to access any variable is dollar open curly braces, close curly braces, and within that you need to give the your database name, I mean your variable name. So my variable name is env orders db. Okay, so here I will give the same. The another way is, what you can do, you can just double click here, that variable will appear. Okay, and this window will show the variables which are defined and its default values, right? Okay, so I'm doing this. Now in case, what will happen in case if someone accidentally change you know this value to db1, okay, and if we try to run this, you see it will not allowed, correct, because database demo db1 does not exist, right? So let me go back and modify this, clicking OK, and when I run this now, it should run. Yeah, see, it has processed the records. So what it has done, it has expanded the value of these variables from these variables. So it have put the demo DB. Similarly, the similar for the warehouse and database name. Okay. Now what I want is, now you can also go to project and go to manage environmental variables and create these two variables. We'll wait. Currently, just forget about this behavior. I will be explaining you in further sessions. And there are different type: text, numeric, and date time. These three kind of environmental variables you can define. Okay? And generally, we prefer to use env as an prefix to define the environmental variables. Okay. So you need to go to project, manage environmental variables, then click on plus and add these two environmental variables. First is env general warehouse. You can give it any name, and env orders db. Done with this?
Nitin, how to copy from one job to another job?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so you're done with this, right?
Just I'm doing, actually not able to copy for same job.
Okay, you need to copy the same job.
Hmm.
Yeah, so what you can do, you can just right click on that job and click on copy, and then again right click on that folder and click on paste. So that will get
Okay.
pasted. But what will
Yeah.
happen, it will create a copy of job. So again, you need to
Yes.
go right click and click on manage jobs, and then you need to rename that job. Okay. Yeah. Okay, let me You also do
So,
like that.
so we're actually adding those variables now, is that right?
Yes,
And we're adding the variables for database and what was the other thing?
warehouse.
Warehouse and data warehouse.
Yeah, warehouse, which is compute WH and DemoDB, right? So why warehouse? Okay, so in case if in future, right, we want to, load our jobs with some different warehouse, okay, which is let's say large in size or Excel in size, so we can easily change it here, and that will get applied for every job which uses this variable, right? Or in case
Right.
if in production, if they have something like ETL warehouse, something that name, so you can use that, right? Simple.
And one more time, where do you get this manage environment variables from?
Yeah, project
Oh, from there. Oh, okay, okay. I was trying to look
manage
it from there.
environment. Yeah.
I was looking at the environments. All right, thank you.
So project and
Yes,
then a manage environment will create these two variable env general warehouse wh and env orders db, and their value will be compute wh and demo db respectively.
next. And you said that's not shared, right? Or is it shared?
Yeah, you can keep anything for now, whatever it is. Okay, so after this, let's say instead of modifying your existing job, what you can do, you can just right click on that job and create a copy of that job. So you can do copy, and then again right click on that folder and you do paste. So you will get the second job, and then let's modify the second job, right? And bring in the SQL script component. There you need to write the two truncate table commands. So I think that is already there. So just replace the demo DB hard coded with the our environmental variables, which is env orders DB. Done with this?
Yeah, slow down, just please.
Yeah, yeah. Just replace that demo DB with your environmental variables and syntax. Always remember to access any variable in Matillion. The syntax is dollar open curly braces, your variable name, and then close curly braces.
So when doing this one, right? Truncate table, your variable name, right? Do
Mhm.
we have to type in that, or can we select that from somewhere while doing that?
Yeah, so either you can type in, or if you
Mhm.
don't want to type, you can just double click on that. It will appear based on where your cursor is.
Okay, 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 got it.
And always remember these environmental variables. Uh, you should create the variable as an environmental variable only if that is gonna used by multiple jobs, right? That's a global in nature basically. Okay, so you generally define your S3 bucket name, your data warehouse name, your database name, or your log file path. Such variables, such values you can define as a global variables, right? Because they would change in your upper environment like UAT and prod, right? Okay.
Yeah,
So
like
once this
not
is
only by use this one, like from external application also we can pass these values, right?
from external application,
Yeah. For
uh,
example, I
mhm.
designed a job, I need to pass, like I need to use multiple times based on my condition.
Yeah, so for that there is a different type of variable, and we'll come to that part. But as of
Fine,
now,
fine.
if you define it here, and the same thing, if you go to upper environment like UATM prod, you would change only the value option. Okay, but to pass specific values, then we'll see how to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nitesh, I'm facing small issue. Can I share my screen then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like when I'm running the job, they're like SQL demo compute why it's showing.
Compute WH. No, that compute WH is a warehouse, right? That is not an schema name. So go back to your job. Go back to
Okay.
SQL script component.
Yeah.
Yeah. Double click there. Yeah. Open it and your truncate table schema. No. That schema. No. So see, when you
Schema
truncate
demo
table,
DB.
the
Demo
no.
DB. Yeah. In warehouse, I have to give different one.
No, so see, the syntax is so to syntax to truncate table is truncate table name database name dot schema name dot table name, right? So
Okay.
your demo DB is not a schema. Demo DB is a database. Okay,
Demo DB
uh,
database. Okay.
database. So what you do? So your naming convention may confuse you. So just do cancel. Go to
Okay.
project menu. Go to manage environmental variables.
Here
Yes. Now instead of schema, rename that to DB name.
DB.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And then click OK. Then again go back to SQL script component, and in that SQL script component, now instead of that schema, remove that and uh, give that DB name.
Demo
No,
DB.
so you need to first remove that first. No,
Okay.
you need to give variable name, right? Demo DB is a database name. That is actual
Yeah.
value, right?
Okay.
Okay, so remove that schema completely.
Okay. And I put the DB name, right?
Yes, and remove that warehouse. Instead of warehouse, write public because that
Oh,
public is a schema,
okay.
right?
Public. Yeah.
And yeah, right.
I will
And
remove this
because
one.
you were putting the various, yes, completely remove that
Okay.
and
Yeah.
write in
Yeah.
public and copy that entire statement and paste it on the second line. And instead of SF orders, write SF people
Okay. Okay.
because we are trying to load the two tables, right? So we need to truncate
Yeah.
these two tables. Kind of, when we load the file, initially we should load the file in Snowflake staging environment, right? So
Okay.
in
Yeah.
staging tables, so our staging table are always truncated and load, right? Then we'll,
Okay.
based on some transformation, we'll load that to final table. So we'll add some audit columns and all, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So do SF people and click OK instead of SF orders on the second line. And just show me your S3 load component.
So this one order okay, it's fine. But this one I am getting the issue like when I'm revalidating. So
Which one? The people one. Yeah, that
yeah
is what,
here
right? So the your warehouse is fine. Warehouse is fine.
okay
In database, no, click cancel here. So in database, right? So your schema is not an variable name, right? You have
okay
modified
yeah
that variable name
yeah
to
yeah
DB name. So
even
select that as a DB name. No, so you will need to first select the schema.
schema
Sorry, the database. Sorry, database, and modify, change that to DB name.
DB name right okay
Yes, and then select schema as public. Yeah, so here you need to write DB name. So you will have that variable, right? Yeah, select that, click OK. Then in the
yeah
schema, select that public.
yeah
Yeah,
selected.
so everything good. Yeah, okay. So as a
Now is
people,
it fine? Is it fine? People.txt dot
yes, yes, yeah, it is fine. Go
okay
scroll
yeah
down first. No, so what is that? Okay, so field delimiter you are given comma, record delimiter
yeah
is slash, and that is true. Fine.
yeah
Scroll down at the bottom. The force load true.
also
Okay,
true
fine. Yeah. Now run it. Yeah. Go to task history.
okay
Yeah. expand that.
One numeric.
Okay, I think there is some column ordering issue. Okay, go back to your job. Open that. Yeah. Open the load columns property
Okay.
above. Yes. Yeah. So here if you see you have given region as a first column, but actually the ID is the column. Okay. So take everything towards left. There is no need to select anything.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So your region is a first column in file as well as right. So that first column should match to the first column in table, right? So that ordering should be
Okay.
there.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
Now
you
can I
can
move?
click on yes, you can move. Okay, now it will work. Click OK and run it. Yeah. So anybody else, any issue, facing any issue?
Yes, I do have a small
Yeah,
issue.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
S3 object prefix, right? What is the S3
yeah.
path?
If you can stop sharing,
yeah, yeah.
Ram.
I am sure. Yeah,
So S3 object prefix, right? Yeah, it is the same, right? It is the bucket name where our where our files are present. So my files are
Oh, okay,
present
the
test MTL
test
bucket.
MTL. Okay, test
Yeah.
MTL,
So
right?
if you come here, it will show you all the buckets which it has. So test MTL. Just select OK. You can also parameterize this. Okay, by the way.
Sure. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So just try that and try that.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I was able to run that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you see, I can also parameterize this S3 bucket path. So what I have created, I have created one variable in S3 bucket, and I have given value of that S3 bucket name. So which is my test MTL2, and this gives given a slash there. Okay, so it's pretty simple. So here we don't need to give S3 as a prefix because that comes static here, right? So
Right, right.
S3 colon slash slash and that bucket name. So I can use that as well here.
We can also run these two in parallel, right? The people and orders.
Yes, yeah. So I will tell you that is the next thing. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Uh, okay. So you're clear on this, right? Now, what we did till now? Okay.
Yeah. Creating the
Now next,
variables.
yeah, so we created the variables because now if we migrate job this to another Matlin instance, which is let's say UAT, what we need to change is only these three things. Our bucket will change, most probably database will change and warehouse will change, right? That's it. Okay. But
So
in real time, yeah.
every time before I migrate, let's say, job from a development to a test or UAT
Mm-hmm,
environment,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
while exporting the job itself, right?
No,
I
no,
also
no.
have do I also have to ensure
Mm-hmm.
that particular environment variable is already present in my
Correct.
upper environment.
Upper environment. That's right. Right.
If
So
not,
that
then include that in migration too.
correct. So that is usually the admin will do. Okay. So when you're creating a deployment plan or the migration plan, you will specifically says create these three new environmental variables name and its default value as this, and in UAT the value should be these values. Okay. And then you raise a merge request. Okay. Right. So now the next thing, let's see, as brought the topic that if we can run this in parallel. Okay. Now what we can do is, so to run that in parallel, what I will do is let me create a copy of this and paste it here. Then I will again right click on it, manage job 3. I will say concurrent. Okay. Now my design will just slightly change here. Okay. What I will do, once the tables are truncated, There is a slight change in my design, right? So I will run this. Now let's see what happens if we run like this. You still see second is still not loaded. Okay, it was still running. Okay, now what is happening behind the scene? Let me tell you. Yeah, okay. Now what happens is when you run this kind of flow where these two logically running in parallel, okay, but practically these are not running in parallel. Okay,
Why is that?
so what does that mean is what Matillion does, Matillion sends these two queries, right? Because there is a one query that is copy command, there is another query which is copy command. Matillion does send these two queries simultaneously, okay, but only so within a job only one snowflake connection can be created at a time. Okay,
Okay.
right? So if I just create a copy of this and again load after this, okay, if I create again a copy of this and again a load, okay, at a time only one snowflake connection will be created from a single Matillion job. Okay, right? Now how can we change this? You see it is running one by one. Okay, I mean since it has very less data, that's why so we
We are
cannot
able to
observe
see
it
records,
clearly.
right, Nitin?
Sorry.
We are able to see records, right?
Yes, record we are able to see, but at the end, uh, you know, uh, uh, Snowflake is accepting these queries one by one. Okay,
Can you do
so
like
what
multiple threads
happens?
or something?
Yes, it is not able to create multiple connections. Okay, now how do we change this is if you remember when you created the environment, okay, here we are given the concurrent connections, and if you see here, concurrent
Oh,
connection means the number of concurrent connections per running job, okay, per running job. So how many concurrent connection that my running Matillion job can create to Snowflake? Since we are given one here, so what it did, it executed first query, then it closed the connection, again the second query, close connection, third, fourth, like this. But it did not execute our those all four components parallelly. Okay. But here,
oh,
if we increase that to 4, okay, all we run parallelly, but ideally my table will locked, okay, because when I'm inserting, my table will locked. Yeah, so if you see the time difference between here and here, it is 4.9 second, and to same process the same, it is 2.8 second,
gotcha.
right? That means, yeah, it has created multiple threads, you can say, or multiple connections.
So one more time, where is that? Where do we
Yeah,
establish that or the property?
yeah, yeah. We need to go to environments, right? Here on the environment panel, just right click, edit environment, and click next, and in the concurrent connection make it to 2 or 4, but ideally we should not make more than 2 3, okay, because it depends on our job logic, how we develop or how we want. Okay, uh, to run them all files in parallel, there is another way as well. Okay, but as of now, let's say we are sticking it to 2. Okay,
But typically,
because
is this property something that we are able to control in, let's say, production, or typically locked down by
yes,
admins?
yeah, so see, this property is per running job. Okay, so even if you run 10 jobs parallelly, it will obviously create the 10 different connections to Snowflake. But within a job, it will just create a single connection at a time. Okay. And ideally, usually, usually when we design job, we run one by one, right? So when this is completed, then run this, run this, run this. There are very few jobs where you want multiple processes to be run in parallel. Very few. Okay. So instead
Right,
of
that,
running them, yeah. So instead of running them in parallel, what you can do, right? Run them in sequential and increase a warehouse size. Okay, right? So here the trick is what will happen if you run both the jobs in parallel, right? Both the jobs are using same warehouse, right? Which is compute WH. That means it will consume the resources of same warehouse, right? So it's up to you whether you want to, uh, you know, run it parallelly and run it on the same warehouse, or you run it one by one and run it on a large warehouse, right? So it ideally it is going to take the same time, right?
But my question is, these property, like right now, obviously we are doing in our dev environment, so we are able to control this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in a production environment where things are locked down, is this property concurrent connection something that's already set by an admin,
Yes.
or okay?
Yeah, it is set by the admin and it is set to the number which we mutually agreed with our system architect or solution architect or the platform owner, right? So based on that, we set that connection. Okay.
Nitin, I have like 10 output links, for example,
Mm-hmm.
10 different tables.
Mm-hmm.
Just I have, parallel only, I have given two. Then how
Yeah.
it takes?
Yeah, it will first, parallelly it will create two connections. So it will process two files parallelly. And then once that connection is released, it will, get the next file like that. Okay.
So
After
for
2
an
by 2, you
instance,
mean to say 2 by 2.
Yeah, 2 by 2. That's right.
typical, let's say we have dimensions and fact tables, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if we use Snowflake in such an
Yeah.
environment,
Yeah, we
but
do. Yeah.
before loading my fact table, let's say I have 15 dimension tables that need to
Uh-huh.
be loaded.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to wait until 15 dimensions are run sequentially one after another.
Mm-hmm.
Or for that matter, even if you have only two connections, it still might take time. Typically, we would want on all the dimensions
Mm-hmm.
concurrently. And then
Yeah.
when all of them succeed, that's when you want to run your fact, right?
Yeah. Yes, that is what I'm saying, right? So see, if you are running 15 dimensions concurrently, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So all of the dimensions will use the same warehouse, Snowflake warehouse, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that means you are running or you are using a single warehouse to process your 15 jobs or 15 queries parallelly, correct?
Right. Correct.
Right? So will that consume the Snowflake warehouse memory, right? And correct?
Yes.
So at the end, overall, it will take some time for that warehouse to process 15, queries in parallelly. Okay. Rather, if we process, let's say, three queries parallelly and then three, that that may be faster. Correct. Because see, Snowflake is all about warehouse, right? If you increase the warehouse size, it will process faster. It would, if you decrease the warehouse size, that means the number of virtual cores, then your process will be slower. Correct.
Okay.
So it's up to you. Okay. Now I will tell you another thing. Okay. Now let's say this is your dimension processing or this is your file processing, and you
Mm-hmm.
have just got 5 files and you need to process that 5 files, let's say parallelly or 3 files parallelly. But rest majority of jobs where you will just have a single concurrent connections. Okay. Now what you can do in that case, based on your team's agreement, what we can do, we can create another environment here. Okay. So what to do that, right click on that environment, add environment. Okay, let me just copy this Snowflake. Yeah, so what I will do, I will create add environment. I will giving the environment like env mtl parallel sf connections. Okay, I'm using AWS credentials. My account is this is Nitin SF. I'm using the okay, yeah. So when you create the password, right, my password will be available here. Okay, so it is stored as a variable, you can say. If you go to manage, see all of our passwords, Snowflake password are stored as a variable here. So let's say I'm using the uh, same my password variable which I used to create this environment, earlier environment. Okay, uh, okay, why it is not able to that? Oh, take it over. The username is different. Yeah. So if I do that, and let's say I'm doing this concurrent connection to 3. Uh, okay, so I made the concurrent connection to 3. So I have this variable. Now what I can do when I actually I will come to that part when I schedule the job. Okay, I will schedule that in this environment, that I will tell my Matillion that when I schedule the job, run it with this environment so that my this job will run in parallel. Okay, so what, and right now on canvas, if I need to run in some different environment, what I can do, just right click. If you see run job, and in bracket it is showing me the environment name env and below that there is an option run job in another environment. So if I click that, I'm getting two environments, right? One is my first one, right? And the new one, parallel SF. So I can select that, click OK. It will run it in parallel. Syntax error line 1. Or did I change anything? Truncate table env orders db. Where it is giving syntax error on truncate table. Error 1, error line 1, position 15, unexpected dot. Okay. Why?
You can run and test.
Yeah, it is executed successfully. Yeah. Yeah, not sure. I think maybe some error there. Yeah. So if you see now, these queries will get executed parallelly since we have. Sorry. I did not select the correct environment. Let me select the parallel asset. Okay. Hmm. What if don't here? What is giving me syntax error?
Maybe there's something incorrect in that environment that you set up. Because it's running okay in the other environment, right?
Yes, that is what thing is. Let's say for now, if I disable this, edit environment.
Yeah, I'll check this one.
160 Tachydor is my password. System compute demo db. Yeah, everything is correct. Okay, yeah, it is executed. Sorry. Error line 1, position 15. Why it is showing that? Truncate table. It's the same. Truncate table and then my env orders db dot public dot sf order. Okay. I think maybe this SQL script component is not, uh, allowed to run in parallel. Okay, that I believe. So
But you're able to run it through the different environment, though, right?
yes,
So why?
let me see.
Or can you? Uh,
Here I'm truncating the orders and here. Okay, I'm not sure. I think something is missing. Okay. Let me write it again. UNCAT truncate table. I'm writing demo db dot public dot sf orders. Is the URL. Okay, now the truncate was successful, but okay. Required. Oh, got it.
What is it?
So see, now consider that this is my another environment, right? That I need to write it in. Okay, so here we have two environments now: env mtlsf, env mtlsf parallel. Now, if I go and check in manage environmental variables, I will get another, column here. That what is the value in this environment? Okay, so it was empty. So that was I was not able to perform that task. Okay, so here what we're doing here, the environmental values are the environment specific. Okay, so when we created one environment env mtlsf, we have given that for this environment my job should take these values, and now I have created another environment, my job should take the same values or the other values in case. Okay, this is helpful. Many times what happens is they have their snowflake qa environment as well, but in terms of Matillion, they just have a single Matillion instance for dev and qa both. Okay, and if you need to test the same job in snowflake qa, what you can do, you can create another environment and point that environment to the snowflake qa account, and then change the values as per that. So the same job you can run it in dev, and when you set the value for qa, the same job can be run in qa. Okay, now let's see. Now it should work. Okay, uh, so this I'm sorry, this orders db. Okay, so again if I do revalidate, yes, I can do that, and you can select your default environment, right? Okay, I mean yeah, if you can go on mute. Yeah, so you can select the default environment. Okay, either if you right click on this and if you say that select environment, so this will be your default environment when you run any job. Okay, if you just run this job, this will run in env mtlsf. If you select another environment as default, that is select environment, if you right click, you will see your default environment is env mtl parallel sf. Okay, so right, for now let me select my original, and now what I'm doing, I need to run this job in parallel. Yeah, okay, clear on this part, the concurrent connections.
Yeah, normally like for whatever environment also we need to define. Like
Yes, that is what. Yeah,
for everywhere. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
So we usually don't have environments, okay, but if we create, okay, either what what we do, maybe let's say we have only one Matillion instance for dev and QA both, and we have different instance for UAT and another one is prod, okay. But on Snowflake, and let's say we have four different environments: dev, QA, UAT, and prod, okay. So in case if we need to run or test the same job in QA environment as well, what you can do, you can create another environment here, like, and that will, let's say, point to QA, okay, something like that, env QA, SFQA, okay, and then you will enter the account of Snowflake QA account and the details. And when you want to test the same job, you just right click, run in environment, and select that QA one. Okay, till
Here
sound
only like it will be behaving like with whatever like just now we gave right to three that parallel number
correct, correct.
kind of nodes, adding nodes.
Nodes, exactly, right. Concurrent threads or concurrent nodes, you can say that, right? You added these three. If you make it back to one, they will not actually
What
running
is
in
the
concurrent.
what is the maximum we can give?
No, it depends on the Snowflake. So that is a Snowflake. What is the maximum that Snowflake can accept? But usually we don't keep more than two or three, okay? Because otherwise
Yeah,
that will just queue our task or queries to the Snowflake warehouse, right?
I mean actually like we are using this one. Okay, we are using Matillion. Like depends on Snowflake. You're saying.
Yes, yes, it is depend on Snowflake because here if you see, we are specifying in the Snowflake connection that how many concurrent connection that can make, okay, okay, and if we say three, and let's say if we have two concurrent components, then Matillion will send these two components parallelly to Snowflake, or basically Matillion Snowflake will accept these two queries parallelly. Okay, and the two different threads or two different connection will be made to Snowflake. Okay,
This case like this parallelism can be done based on target environment.
correct,
Am
correct,
I right?
right, right,
If it is Azure, then based on
yes,
Azure, then it will go as a parallel or concurrent.
yeah,
But
right,
Matillion is not at all providing inside.
correct, right. Okay, now, okay, yeah, now. Yeah. So if you see now, we have loaded the people's data. We have loaded the the orders data, and this we have done in an orchestration job, right? So what does that mean is since these files are external to Snowflake, right? So using load component, which is available only in orchestration job, we can load that to Snowflake. Now, now if you see, let's say we have data available in SF people, okay. Now what we'll do, we'll try to load this in the dimension table, okay. So let's say I have one table which is dim people, which has ID, person, region, the columns from SF people, then insert date, update date, and MTL run ID. So this is a Matillion run ID, okay. So I need to process my SCD type 1 dimension, let's say, okay. So what I will do now, my data is in Snowflake. I just need to read that SF people table, right? And I just need to either insert or update in the dim people table, right? So everyone is aware about SCD type 1, right? If the record is already present, then update it. If record is not present, then insert it, correct? So what we'll do now, we'll create a transformation job, okay, right? So because our data is already in Snowflake and now we need to process that to our final dimension table, right? And wants to do some transformation on the data, correct? So let me create a job.
Can you
So
can you give us a sample job actually for transformation like kind of any with functions initially?
yeah, no, so we'll create that right during the practice itself, right? So,
Okay.
so yeah, so you need to do it by yourself. Yes, at the end, I can share you the jobs, okay? Whatever I have extra, so I will share at the end. So don't worry about that. Okay. So just to create transformation job, what we'll do, we'll add transformation job. Let's say number 4. I will say process dim people. Okay. Now, as I said, transformation job is highlighted with the green icon and orchestration with the blue. Now the difference here is in the components. Okay, so if you go to orchestration job, right, you will see the different categories of components, right? You have connectors to load unload data, you have DDLs command, right? You have load unload scripts, you have scripting like bash and python, okay, like this command, right? And these are kind of external, right? And that will help you to orchestrate your flow, correct? Now when you come to transformation job, you will have the different categories. Okay, so you can read the data from the snowflake, and now see all these components, okay, which are available here in the transformation job. These are the components which are supported by the snowflake, or I would say these are the you can say functionality which are supported by snowflake. Okay, so you can use the join components, right, intersect, then to transform you can use aggregate components, calculator component. We have convert type, distinct, we can use filter, then first lead lag, then we can use rename, rank, replicate, SQL script component. The difference here is now here your statement can be a select queries. Okay, otherwise here our statement should not be a select query, but an either a DML or DDL statement. Okay, and then so we have such many window calculation functions as well. So there are different transformations which are available. Okay, and then at the end what we need to do, we need to read from table, we need to do some transformation, and then we need to write it to table. So those are available in the right category. Okay, so what I will do, I will just read a table from the table input component. So table input component is used to read the data from table. Okay, now in the database what I will do, I will select the my variable env orders db. Okay, in schema I can use environment default or I can use simply public because my schema will not change. In target table, that means the table from which we need to read. So my table is SF people, right? Okay, and column names, let's say I need to read all columns, I will just get them to write. Okay, now here you know our scenario is we need to read data from SF people and we need to process that to our dim people table. Okay, that is a SC type one. Clear on this scenario what we are doing in transformation job now?
One more time, please, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so see we have data in our SF people table, right? So this is a kind of
Correct.
a staging area for it, or staging table for us, right? Now daily,
Right.
as you said, right, we need to load dimensions and facts, right? So what we're trying to do now, we're trying to load our dim people dimension table, okay? And for that, the source is SF people table.
Okay.
Okay. Now I have used the table input component. I have given database schema. My table is SF people. This is my source table, right? And now at the
Wait,
end,
is there a source or target? It says target table, right? SF
yeah,
table?
target table, but the actually that name is little confusing. But my component is table input, right? Table input
Okay.
component is to read the input.
Right.
Okay, and from which table you need to read, that is what it is saying, the target table.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, now I can also do some different transformations here. Let's say, uh, le- yeah, and before that, right? Let's look at some of the properties here. Okay, if you see this when you click on this any of the component, let's say table input component, you will see the different properties, right? And these are like very cool features which Matillion provides. Okay, so if you go to sample, if you just need to check the sample, you can click on data, it will give you the sample data available. If you need to get the row count, you can just click on there, you will get, yeah, there are 6 rows available in this table. Okay, right? So why these are important is to check the sample you don't need to go back to Snowflake workbench and write the query here and check the sample, right? No. So this is how when you work on some complex jobs, this will save your time, right? You can simply check your sample here data. Okay, there is a metadata tab which will just tell you like which are columns are present, right? We have ID, version and region, correct? Lineage I will explain you, and there is a SQL tab. SQL tab, it is same that that we have seen here in the orchestration component, that what SQL it is generating. Okay, now it is an SQL job. Okay, now just bear with me for some time, I will explain you. Now let's use some transformation. Let's say I'm trying to use on filter transformation. Okay, and client saying that in region you may get some null values. So don't process anything to dimension table where my region is null. So what I can do, I can get a filter component, right? And in filter condition, I can have my region. Okay, that is input column is region, right? Region not null. Correct? Simple. Okay.
Okay.
Now I will add that. So what it will do, it will filter out the records which are
No.
where my region is null. Okay. Now client also says that there could be a chances that my ID can also be null. So filter that. Or yeah. So ID or the what they can say. Yeah. So client says that our region can be null or it can be NA, that is not applicable. So we need to filter out both. Okay. So what I can do, I can apply another filter condition here, component here, and I can do now instead of region, I can have the I'm sorry, region not uh, not equal to NA. Okay, I can write this, but
Can
instead
we
of
combine
this,
them in the same
yes,
one?
yes, that is what. So instead of
Okay.
having written it in a different, what I can do, I can
Okay.
write add one. I can write again region not. Then you have different less than equal to less than equal to will work for numbers. Okay, so not equal to NA. Okay, so I've added two conditions that region. So that is as per my mapping document. So client says that remove anything where my region is null or region is NA. Now, importantly, if you see the third property, that is combined conditions, how you want to combine these conditions? Okay, these two conditions, because here I need to combine this as an OR condition, right? Because either my region is null or if my region is NA, skip those records.
Right.
Okay, now so now so the beauty here is if you go to SQL component on this tab, filter tab, you would see the next SQL which is generated on the top of this, right? If you see select star from, and this is the syntax, what it does is like $T, that is dollar table, then SF people. So SF people is the component name. Okay. And
Right.
where what it does, it has just applied the two additional filters which we have added in the filter component. Region is null and region
Okay. Okay.
sorry, region not null and region not equal to NA, not of. Okay, so this is it has added two additional filter condition to the query which it has generated. And if you check on the syntax part, so if I just rename this to, let's say, SF people SRC, that is source. Okay, if you come back to filter, it will be SF people source. So it is not the table name, but it is the name of the previous component, right? So what it does, it needs to get the data from its previous component. So previous component name is SF people SRC. So SF people SRC, and the way we access our variable using dollar symbol, we just need to keep the dollar and T. Dollar T is dollar table of this. Okay. Now, if we need to see whole query, there is an option called expand references. So if you check that, it will just expand the references. Okay, right? So this is my query. This is my first query from the first component, right? Select ID person region from SF people. Okay, so if I go back to first component, you see, select ID person region from SF people. If I go back to second, what it does, it takes first query and then it applies the whatever the filter that we have applied here. Okay, now let's say I'm applying another component, but a different component, just for the sake of how the SQL is generated. Let's say I'm adding here where ID not or let's say ID is greater than 0. Okay, I'm adding this, right? If I can go back to SQL, if you see, right, what it will do, select star from $T, then filter 0. Filter 0 is this the component name, right? If I make it something different, like filter uh, region, okay, if I come back here, yes, filter region, and if I expand the references, what it will do? It has created till this query, till the earlier component, right? And in this component, we have applied where ID should be greater than 0. So it just added that where clause to that. Okay, so this is how step by step it is generating the queries, but don't assume now that it is sending the data from this component to this component and then this component to this component. No, so don't assume now. For that I will explain you. Okay, now okay, now okay, let's explain that later about lineage. Now what I will do, so if you see, I have applied two filter where my region should not be null and my region should not be equal to NA, right? So it will filter that data. Okay. Now next thing, let's say now if you see the table, in the dim people table, we have insert date column as well, right? Insert date, update date, and Matillion run ID. Okay, so let's and we need to populate the data in these three columns as well, right? Because ID, region, person, these are coming from our source table, and these are kind of audit columns that we add. Correct.
Right.
So I'm adding insert date, update date, and Matillion run ID. So let's try to calculate the values for them. So for that, we have a calculator component. Okay, so if I bring in the calculator component, right? Now calculator is just it is just to calculate or create your expressions, right? The scalar expressions. So what I will do here, I will create one variable. Now to do that, we need to click on plus. When you click on plus, here we need to provide the name. Let's say I'm giving some name as v insert update date. Okay, and this is the expression. Now what, as an expression, what I can do, I can give current underscore timestamp. This is my expressions. I can write any expression here. Okay, which, and these all functions are the functions which are supported by Snowflake. You see, you have date function, day of month, day of week, hour, timestamp. We have JSON function, parse JSON. We have conditional function, if null. If you have any user defined function, they will appear here. You have any data formatting functions like to number, to char, to date, to timestamp, everything. Okay,
These
these
are the
all are
functions for only Snowflake.
Snowflake functions, right? This is what the difference is. If you would have launched this instance as in Matillion for Redshift, all these functions would have been for the
Different.
Redshift. Yes,
I mean, functions will be changing or
yes, function will be changing and they will be as per the Redshift syntax,
oh,
right? So here it is a current time. So I can type in here or I can also search here. Yeah, current timestamp. I can just double click here and it says number, but that is not compulsory. If I can just give it like this. Okay, so this I added. Another thing I will add is if you see here, we need to add another audit column which is Matillion run ID. Okay, Matillion run ID. So what happened now exactly is whenever you run any job, okay, whenever you run any job, you can see the task history of that job. Okay, and to each task history or for each job that we run in Matillion, an unique run ID gets associated to it, and this is this ID. Okay, so when we run this job, okay, right, the run ID was 13761. Okay, and this run ID is stored in an internal Matillion variable that we have access to, that we can access. Now, how to access that? Now, there are different variables. We have that, another, you can say, session on that automatic variables that we called as built-in or automatic variables. These are kind of variables which are internal to Matillion and that we can use. Okay, and to capture that ID or that run ID, we have a component called run history ID. Sorry, we have variable called run history ID. This is an internal variable to Matillion where Matillion will store the value of the job which is currently running. Okay, okay. So let's try to do that. Now what I will do in the calculator, I have added another. Let me add it one more time. I will click plus. I will come here. Here I'm adding one another variable that we run ID. And here, now instead of writing down some SQL, some Snowflake function, what I will do, I will try to use the internal Matillion variable, which is run history ID. And how to access that? Dollar open curly braces, run history underscore ID, close curly braces. Okay. So this is my the expression. So I have added two expressions. One is insert update date, another is vrun id. I will click OK here. Why it's not going? Yeah, so it was not
Nothing
in valid
variable.
state. No, it was not valid it was not in valid state. So I just right click and did a revalidate. So the components became invalidated. Okay. Now let's see what SQL it is generating at this point. So if you go to this, okay, it is taking data from this filter region, right? And what is doing at the end, if you see, it is adding current timestamp as we insert date, and this is the the current run ID, okay, which this value holds 14166, and that is a run history ID. Okay, if we add any other variable or any other expression here, that okay, I need to make my region as upper. Okay, what I will do, region upper, and what I can do just upper of here, or I can just search that function here. Just need to double click and it is accepting a varchar. Now I can write the region, or another way is just click on this column and you see this arrow, click on that arrow, you will see that expression here, right? So I'm doing upper of region here. Okay, now I'm clicking OK. When I go back to SQL, you would see another column got added in the query. Yeah, so this is how we calculate or transform our data, right?
Is there one single place, Nitin, where in either in the health manual or anywhere else where I can see all the list of available?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So best way is go to this transformation, go to this transform. Okay. And best way is whenever if you are not clear on how to use that, there is a help button. Click on that help. It will explain you the things. Okay. Right. And if you want to see the full documentation, just click here on the full documentation. You will go to documentation.matillion.com, and here all the transformation are present, aggregator and all. These are pretty well known or common. Okay, and here they have given the transformation component values. See, these are snowflake properties for calculator component. If you go to redshift, there are different redshift properties. These are the same component available for big Google BigQuery as well. The same is available for Synapse, Delta Lake and all. Okay,
What is
right.
Synapse for that?
That is a different data warehouse, right? Cloud data warehouse. I think it's Azure. It is
Azure, Azure.
Azure, right, right. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, right. So similarly,
Thank
see,
you.
the difference is nothing, right? You see, if you worked upon a Matillion for Snowflake tool, if tomorrow, if your company wants you to work on Matillion for Redshift or Matillion for Synapse, for you, the only change is in the target data warehouse. Even this table input component remains same for Snowflake, it remains same for Redshift, it remains same for Google BigQuery and others, right? Just very minor changes. Okay, very minor change.
Yep.
Okay, so that is the beauty, that if you work on a single product of Matlin for Snowflake or any other, you should be able to get started with other products as well. See, same join components. Everything is same. Inner, left, full. Same with the Google BigQuery. Same with the
Yep.
Synapse, right?
Yes.
It's pretty cool, I would say. And you would, looking at this, right? Looking at this, you cannot judge which is this Matillion. Is this Matillion for Snowflake or is it Matillion for Redshift? No. So you can't judge unless and until you see which environment it is connecting to and what all components are available. Or let's say it's specific to, like this S3 load Snowflake. Even in Redshift, they have the S3 load component. But just I think their internal copy command is something different. Okay. So this is the beauty. Once you get started with any one tool, right? It's pretty easy. And even in the when you try to switch to your careers, right? Different career, even if you have worked on any single Matillion tool, and if they have something different like a Matillion for Synapse and others, they can still prefer you. or other candidates. Yeah, everything remains same, right? Okay. Now next thing, okay, so I have added these calculated components: insert, update date, run ID, and upper region. Okay, now my final thing is, once this is done, so let's say, so this is very pretty small transformation. So in real time you will have, multiple tables, joins and all. Okay, but just for sake of this demo, I have prepared a simple transformation, because see, once you understood the concept, right, you can build any kind of jobs. Okay, now finally what I need to do is I need to use a table, right category component. Either I can use table output or table update. So with table output, what happens? You can only append the data. Only insert the data. But with table update, you can either append or either insert or update. Right? And that is what our scenario, right? If that ID is already present in my dim people table, I need to update. If my ID is not present, then I need to insert. That means that is a new customer for me. Okay. Then what I am doing, I'm getting a people table update. Table update component. Just join it here. Okay, now the same thing, right? If you see, everything is same here. I'm giving env orders db database. Sorry, not the orders db. Oh, sorry. Env general warehouse. Okay, now let's say, I know that, let's say this people, right, this people um, uh, dimension is pretty large, and it takes more time, so I can use different warehouse as well. Okay, so we'll check that in some different session. So as of now, what I'm doing, I'm using the same warehouse. My database, instead of giving the static value, what I'm doing is I'm using my variable as orders, and in target table, my target table is dim people. Right, now the way we give the alias, right, when you join two tables, right, what we do, table A join table B, right, and we give alias to table A and table B, right, the same alias it is giving. We can change it, target, right? So target is something, the alias for the dim people, and source is alias for the input component. So input component now is this calculator. Okay, and then join. Okay, now here, based on what thing I need to update or insert my data, right? So if you see here, now I will have columns from target as well as source, right? So my input, so these are the columns from my input component. Okay, so we have ID, person, region, and these three columns, where we can see this is my input component and this is the input to this dim people. So yes, we have added these three extra columns, and if you go to metadata, if you can see, yes, we have these three original columns plus these three columns which we added as a part of calculator component. Even if you go to SQL, you will still see all these six columns, and those only are appearing here. When you click on join expression, you will see the six column from input, and these are the columns from the target. That target means dim people table, and based on what we need to join, based on ID, right? So what I can do, I can just click on that ID, then I can write equal to, or I can use this button as well, and then so target.id equal to input.id, right? And I'm clicking OK. Now what it is saying, when matched, that means when target, the ID in the dim people matches with the ID in my input, then what we need to do? What we need to do in that case, we need to just do an update operation, right? There are two options, either update or delete. Okay, so what I need to do is I need to update that, correct? So I will do update, and then when you click update, then it is asking for the update mapping. So what you need to update, so what I will do, I will click here. Either I can do add all. Okay, I think add all, or sometimes it doesn't work. So what I can do now, okay, I can just click on plus plus and output columns, right? So output column is something, the columns of my target table, that is dim people, right? So since ID is a primary key, so that will not get updated, right? So either person name can be updated, so I will assign person. Either region can be updated, right? And finally, if this is an update, I will update the update date along with the Matillion run ID, so that I come to know that which Matillion execution or Matillion run ID has updated my record. And on the input side, we just need to give mapping person to person, region to region, update date to v insert update date, which we have added in the calculator, and run ID as Matillion ID. Sorry, for this region, we need to give the upper region, right, which is in uppercase. Okay.
So Nitin,
Mhm.
Ramana here. So ideally we exclude the key columns, right? Whatever we used in join condition.
Yeah, so I excluded that, right? So we did
Yeah,
not include ID. Yeah,
I mean, I understand you excluded ID, but in case if we have a composite primary key also,
we can
then we
exclude both.
exclude. Okay.
Yes, we can exclude
Yeah.
both. Yeah, that is up to your design.
Yeah.
How you the target table is designed, right? Right. Yeah. Okay. So here we are added. Okay. Let me show you one more time. In the update mapping, what we are saying when matched. That means when ID or my primary key is matched, I need to update. Then in the update mapping, what I need to do, I need to update few columns. So I need to update person of my target table, region, and to update insert up. Sorry, not the insert date. Since this is an update, I will update date, and I will update the Matillion run ID. And person, I will select person. For region, I will select upper region. For update date, my variable, uh, it is not a variable, but it is an actual column now. And for run ID, I will select Matillion run ID. Okay. When I click OK, now this is where if my ID or the primary key is matching, then what if there are new customer which are not yet inserted into my final dim people? What it is saying, include not matching, and if we do here as, okay, then it will ask us for the insert mapping, right? So in insert mapping, what we can do is, now since this is an insert, I will have to insert all the things, right? I will insert the insert including ID as well. Now here I will insert the insert date and not the Matillion run ID. Okay, there is other cool way as well. Either you can do add all, not sure why it is not working, or the another way what you can do is you can go to update here, update mapping. You see here text mode. If you click here, it will, you can just control A and do a copy here. If you uncheck it, it will come back here, and you can go to insert mapping, again go to text mode, paste that. If you come here, it will, you will be there, right? Now what I can do here, I can add ID to ID, person is person. Instead of update date, I will have insert date and Matillion ID, right? This is how my, a kind of a transformation job will look like. Now the end thing and the very final thing, what it does or what it will do now, if you see in normal Informatica, if you see when you run this job, we see the number of rows which is processed at this link, right? Which is processed by this, processed by this, processed by this. So Matillion will not bring any data within its memory, or it will not pass any data from this component to this component or this to this. What Matillion will do at the end, it will go to end component, it will take its SQL and it will send this SQL to Snowflake for execution. Okay. This is how the Matillion does an ELT operations, right? Okay. So once you know, send this, so once Matillion send this, along with that, Matillion does send that whether that it needs to update and insert both the things, but it will refer to that this SQL and it will send it to Snowflake for execution. And it will not bring any data in any through any of the component. Okay, Matillion always send the SQL which is available at the target component or the end component. It will take that SQL and send it to Snowflake for execution. And this is what the push down optimization, right? We push down our processing to our target database, right? 6 records
Yes.
have got processed. If I go to Snowflake, if I go to history, yeah, you see, merge into dim people, the same our query, right? When matched, then update. This is our update mapping. And when not matched, then insert, right? This is the query that Matillion has sent to Snowflake for execution. If I check in dim people, yes, I can see IT person region. Insert updated. Updated is not populated because none of the records got updated, and it's kind of first load for one time load. And this is then Matillion run ID, right? 14391, right? So I can go here and I can go to task history. Okay, I can go to task history. Yeah, I ran this, right? 14391. This is the internal Matillion run ID, okay, which is there. So this usually we added to each and every table as an audit column, right? The way we add insert date, update date, or updated by, right? We should add the Matillion run ID as well. You can give any name here, history ID, run ID.
Is there a reason we want to add the Matillion run ID? Meaning, are you able to query the Matillion run ID to get some of the stats if you wanted to?
No, but it is just for our audit purpose. In case if if you want to maintain that audit history or audit log, you can
Okay.
add that. Yes. Yeah.
But is there a way to query the metadata of the
No,
Matillion?
no, no,
No.
that is not available.
Okay.
Every run ID will be changing, right?
Yes, yes, every run ID is unique. Right, right. So this is how we do it. Okay.
In the in this case, I have like as per this one, like any changes occurs at source, then I need to load. In that case, also same like by using calculation only done.
Yes, yes, everything. So my end-to-end load, how it will happen is I will have this orchestration job, which will first load my people file, right? And at the end, I will have this my component here. So what it will do, it will truncate stage table, load orders file, load people file, and then it will load my people dimension. And in in turn, people dimension is reading the data from the table which has loaded by this component, which is SF people. Okay. Now I want you guys to try this out. Okay. I think it should not take more than 10 minutes. Okay. So let's try this out. Okay. So anybody wants to share the screen so I can guide you there?
Yes, I can share.
Yeah, Fahad, you can share. So others can follow Fahad. So just create a transformation job. Ramana, Sudhakar, Rama. Okay. Just right click, add transformation job, give it some name.
You're able to see my screen, right?
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Yeah, you can say transform dim people. Yeah. Yes, switch to job. Now, scenario, as I said, is simple. From the components tab, now yeah, expand the component. Yeah. Now we need
Nitin,
to
can
read
you
the data.
Nitin,
No,
can
no,
you ping me
not the
that
right. Mhm.
that queries Nitin for people dim and people table?
No. Okay, so you have not created those tables?
Like if you share through mail, then I'll create. Actually, I don't have access.
Okay, okay, that one. Okay, sure, sure. Yeah, got it, got it. Yeah. Um. Okay, let me share you via chat as of now. Okay, you want. So did you create for SF people? Okay, let me
No,
send
no,
you
no.
all.
Same people and dim people. Like
Yeah, yeah,
currently, you can provide two tables. Later, you can provide the
yeah.
tables will be.
Yeah, so I have pinged in the chat for SF people. There is another table that is SF written that also will work tomorrow, and there is a table called dim people. Okay, so you can create all these three tables. Okay. Now, no, so we need to read input, Fahad. So just delete that. I mean
delete one.
the
I have not
yeah
deleted
yeah.
it.
So whatever you have written that in the search bar, right? Yeah. Go to data, expand that data. Yeah. Now take the table input component. Okay. So table input is to read the input, right? Now
Okay.
click on that component and set its properties. Now set database as variable name. Okay. This is a table. This is a component name. If you want to set it up, you can set that up. So others can follow. You can type in if you remember the name as well. No, don't. There is no need to put the dollar when you're searching the name.
Okay, just
Yeah,
like this. Okay.
yeah.
One.
ENV orders DB, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Or even if you type orders, then it will give you quicker. Yeah. Schema, you can select public since we have not created any variable for that.
Right.
Even if you don't select, it is set at the environment default level. Yeah. Now your source is you need to read it from SF people table, right? Which you have loaded in the previous step.
Yes. Let me take orders because I think I might have loaded orders and not the people.
No. So order is a fact data basically. It's a transactional
Oh,
data.
yeah. Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
So if you don't, yeah. So let's do it now. So it won't take more minute. Go to your transform orchestration job. Uh, yeah. Just click on that and do Control C, Control V. No. Wait. Don't do Control C and do Control V. Yeah. Then join that component to the next. No, not from there. Join it to your S3. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Remove that. Yes. Now there. Click on that. Now means. Oh, you did start or star. Now give SF.
What did I do?
Yeah. There. SF people. Yes, okay. And in the pattern, you give the star dot star. You should give the table file name, right? People, capital people. Let that dot star be as it is. People.txt dot star. And then click OK. And go back to your previous S3 load and there as well give orders.txt. Yeah, orders dot small txt. Yes. Click OK. Now go back to your new load component. Wait. No. Go. So go back to that component where you are loading that people component, right? People file. The second S3 load component, yeah, yes. So there we need to change the property. Now our SF people table file is comma separated. So go scroll down a
About
bit.
the file field delimiter.
Yes, fill instead of slash t, give comma. Just type in comma. Yes, that's it. Okay. Now just in the go to SQL script component here. No, component, SQL script component
Oh, sorry.
on the job. Yeah, just double click. Okay, you have written both the right truncate table
Right.
demo db SF people. Yeah, okay. Just right click and run. Yeah, open that. Export.
Nitin, sorry to disturb you. Can you ping me that built-in variable for Matillion run ID?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I was about to show you that as well. So you can. I'm pinging you in that chat. Yeah, use that one. Okay, now it is done, Fahad. So let's
Yes, it's
go back to transformation job. Okay, and
okay.
yes, give the SF people.
Yep. SF people.
Yes,
Database
required
public.
columns. Yeah, it will show you the error wherever there is an error. Okay, so select all the columns. Yeah. Now let's take a filter component. Just search for filter in the component tab. Yeah, apply filter. Like region is not null, something like that, and the region is not equal to NA. No, write in null and in the qualifier write not. Select not.
Yep.
I hope others are following. Yeah, that's it. And add another one. Yeah, the region is equal to, sorry, is not, sorry, not equal to.
Is that NA, right?
No, we have so you need to select equal to above because I no. So that is not that is true. That
Okay.
is not. But here we need to select equal to because not we have already select, right? So we already negate that. Select equal to the third option. Yeah. So is not equal to NA in capital. Let's say. Yeah. Okay. Then click OK here. No, it's pretty simple, right? So if you go to sample here, you can easily see, right? Click on data, click on number of rows. You would get that how many rows that it will get you. Yeah,
Okay.
like that. Okay. Yeah, and yes, in that you need to do or instead of doing and.
Sure.
That is a combined condition. I hope others are also following the same. Now let's calculate our few of the variables, right? So use the calculator component. Okay, double click, yeah, click on that. Go to calculations. Yeah, so it says that whether you want to include your input columns or not, which is coming from the previous component. So yes, yeah, we need to include, plus we need to have our additional columns. Okay, yeah, click on calculation. Now here, click on plus. Yeah, first give it a name on the upper bar. Not there. On the same text bar, you see the name. Yeah. So we will add first for, let's say, Matillion run ID. So you can give any name, v underscore, just to identify, v underscore m, whatever the history ID or run ID, whatever you need to give. Yeah. Okay. Now their value should be dollar, open curly braces, then uh, not run underscore history underscore ID in small cases. Run history, because this is an internal variable. Okay. So we'll see that in later part. Yeah. Now
What
add
is
another
it?
one. Click on plus.
It just failed to evaluate.
Even I'm getting the same
No,
error.
no, it is failing to validate because this is
Okay.
not an snowflake function, right?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
The dollar open curly is not. That is why. But if you get out of that component, then it will validate for okay, for sure. Now
Okay.
let's add another field and add an, let's say, upper region.
Their expression means only a deriving column, right? Like we are adding
Yes,
different another column,
yes, exactly. Different additional columns, right?
additional columns to table.
Yes,
The
derived
data type
column.
size and all like you can give.
Yeah, it automatically detects that basically.
Basically, based on input data, it
Yes,
will detect. Is it?
yes. Yeah, okay. Then add another one, Fahad, that let's say uh,
Date
v current date,
process.
yeah, or just v date, process date, anything you can add, whatever you feel. Yeah, load date is also fine, and give current timestamp, or you can again search that in that function, right? You see the below there is search bar. Type in just current timestamp underscore, yeah, timestamp. Just double click there, yeah, and remove that number. Yeah, just don't do anything. Okay. So these three columns we have it. Now click OK.
Okay, so look
See,
at the
that is
calculator.
validated, right? Now again, if you click on calculator, click on that
Uh-huh.
component and go to sample, you will see some sample getting out. Okay. So click on data. So see why I'm stressing more on this feature, guys, because these are very important feature when you developing your job. Okay. Now here you can simply see that your upper region function is working properly,
Correct. Yeah.
right? Your current
Yep.
timestamp is working properly, right? So you don't need to load at each and every step and go back to Snowflake and check data whether it's working or not. No,
Right.
here
So
itself
the
you
mat,
can check your transformations.
sure.
Yeah.
The Matillion run ID, right, looks like it's already assigned one even before you actually executed the job.
Yes, when you click sample that time as well, it will assign you some Matillion ID.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
far.
Now let's go to write category component. No, joiner is not needed for now. Um, No, we need to write table output. So just delete that, whatever you have right in the search bar. Yeah, click on data, expand the data because there are no lot of components, so it's pretty to easy to expand. Go to right. There are only five or four components, right? Use table update. So table output is used if you just want to insert the data. Use
Right.
table update. Yeah. Now set the basic properties as you have been doing for